What's going on, my friends? Dustin Stelzer with Electrician U. We have a guest today. This is Jake Butler. He is a locomotive electrician, so I thought that would be really rad to share with y'all. I like to start kind of going into what different kinds of electricians there are out there, what different opportunities there are. So Jake's going to split some knowledge for us on what it's like to be a railroad electrician or a locomotive. Sorry, not a railroad electrician. Do you get
Journeyman
called that?
locomotive.
Yeah. Do you get called a railroad electrician a lot?
No, no one knows we even exist.
All
All they do
right.
is say, "Oh, you work for the railroad? I mean, you must travel a lot." They think I'm a
Yeah.
conductor, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well, cool, dude. So, what does it even mean to be a locomotive electrician?
Well, I'll tell you what, all these locomotives need maintained. They need repaired. Everything always goes wrong. And I'll tell you one thing is that we start with these old locomotives that were like all relay logic, no computer systems at all. And now everything's going more and more electrical. We got these very, very technical locomotives that use all microprocessors and computer systems, and it's just getting more and more. So I'm learning something every day. I've been there going on 8 years now, and I'm always doing something different. I'm always learning something new, and that's why I love it. So.
Okay, so how did you even get into something like that? Where did you start doing residential or something, and then you just got into this?
I always wanted to be an electrician. I joined the Army. I got out of the Army in 2009. I'm 35, so I went from, I joined in 2003, went to Iraq in 2005. When I got out, I didn't have any skills. I didn't go to college. I went to college for a little bit, and I wanted to be an electrician. I always wanted to be in the trades. My dad was a millwright, but I wanted to be an electrician. But I couldn't get into the hall. I tried taking the testing, and it didn't work out. It was very hard to get into the locals. So I applied for the railroad, and they were hiring as a laborer. And it was a long process. It was like 3, 4 month process, maybe 5 month process. I finally got hired on as a laborer. All I did was clean locomotive cabs and dump toilets and nasty stuff and clean up after all the conductors and stock it with water. They hire from within. So they put up some electrician apprenticeship uh, jobs, and I applied and I got in within 6 months, and I became an electrician.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was that. I mean, it was totally different than what I was thinking I was going to do. But I thought, electrician's an electrician to me. It's very different, very different. We get journeymen, residential, and linemen that come to the railroad, and it's total different setup. It's not like I could go do what you do, or you could come do what I do. It's going to take a lot of training.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something I've never experienced. I would love to just like sit with you and watch what you do and see the different systems and how they work, because that's the stuff that just blows my mind. I love to walk into a new environment and be like, "Oh my God, what is that?" You know?
Right. To let people know that there's multiple different uh, electricians out there.
Yeah.
You got residential, you got linemen, and then you got automotive industry and the transportation industry like I'm in. And no one grows up saying I want to be a locomotive electrician.
Yeah.
You don't even think about it. And I didn't even know they existed until I applied for the job. So
Okay.
I went through the apprenticeship and became a journeyman, and I'm learning something every day. And that's the one thing I learned is that never be afraid to ask for help. I got buddies that work there that are way smarter than I am. And there's always someone that's done something you haven't done. And I'm always learning. And it's a great experience.
Yeah, me too. I always try to get people to like go through their experience like that, no matter what level they're at. Like I always tell helpers, stop, don't ever think that you know a whole bunch more than somebody else, or there's just always something to learn. Even if somebody knows more, say about like commercial wiring, you might meet somebody else that has less years in but knows way more about PLCs or controlling motors or things like that. So just always being humble and like looking for lessons from people. And even like old people, the old dudes that are like getting ready to retire right now, it's like I'm constantly just like, hey, before you get out of the field, dump what's in here on me. Like, give me all of it. I want all of it.
Absolutely. There's a lot of knowledge leaving, you know, a lot of knowledge leaving. And it's a it's a it's a scary thing working on these locomotives that I mean they put out what 3.3 megawatts, enough to power 1,500 homes, but with electricity. You know, the alternators, the main gen alternators are give or take 20,000 pounds just for the alternator to run the 12-cylinder, 16-cylinder diesel engines. Not a lot of voltage, a lot of amperage. I think what maximum gen alternator amperage like 4,200 amps or something like that. And you're dealing with this stuff, and you want to learn everything you can about it. And these old heads, they know a lot. So
Yeah. So then, okay, your typical day, what are you doing? Is there like a shop where they park these tractors,
yes,
whatever you call it, and you sit and work on them?
right. We work at a yard, rail yard, and we have a diesel shop and a locomotive will come in with either some sort of issues, whether it's mechanical or electrical, because we got different crafts there. We got electricians, machinists, which are diesel mechanics, and then we got pipe fitters. So we're all different unions working together to fix this locomotive. And we got maintenances. These locomotives need to be maintained at 184 days, 368 days, even 92 days. They come in for maintenance. And typical days, we go in, we get our job assignment, what locomotive we're on, whether we're doing troubleshooting or just doing a regular maintenance. There's a lot of troubleshooting, a lot of electrical troubleshooting. There's just like uh, wires in the wall. You got dirty, nasty, covered in oil wires running throughout this entire locomotive, whether it's running to microprocessors, cables running to the alternator. You always got troubleshooting and a lot of software too. Deal with a lot of software nowadays, and it's just getting more and more complex. But yeah, typical days, we find out whether we're doing maintenance or troubleshooting and inbounds and outbounds. You do an inbound and try to see what's wrong with this locomotive, or if it's a good locomotive for power, bring it into the shop, work on it, take it out of the shop, and try to get rid of it and put it on the train for power.
So do you ever have to go out and ride a train to see what it's doing, or is this okay?
Absolutely, absolutely. We do a track test all the time. When we change out the traction motors, which are what you would think the wheels, they're called traction motors. They're basically uh, big motors that get traction or electrical uh, energy from the alternator to turn into mechanical energy to move the fucking wheels and shit. So, uh, yeah, when we change those out, we got to make sure that they're hooked up properly and they're moving and they're not grounded, internally grounded, shorted, because there's commutators inside and there's brushes on DC traction motors. We work with AC and DC
Okay.
both, and and then sometimes you can't duplicate a fault for a train, for a locomotive that's pulling a mile-long train up a hill, and it's getting a ground relay issue. It's shorting out to ground. You can't duplicate that in the yard.
Yeah.
All we got is a load testing where we just sit on it by itself and we load it under power to simulate a train under power, but it's not really pulling that mile-long train. So we got to take it on a mainline track test and get it up to high speeds and try to duplicate that fault.
So are there just like test tracks that aren't actual public, like where trains are going, for transit? You just run tests through these?
Well, we got small tracks in the yard that we can run it back and forth for short track tests to see if the traction motors are working, if it's kicking any ground relay faults at low speeds. But sometimes you need to get to higher speeds, and then we have to get permission to go on the mainline tracks,
Okay.
run it back and forth at high speeds. So, but yeah, we got a few tracks that we can work on.
Damn, it almost sounds like that's what an aircraft engineer, like a very similar job.
Yeah, airline electrician. We got a couple of ex-airline electricians there, and I think that's more intense. Obviously, I think that would be crazy intense to be an airline electrician. I'd like to like to sit down with one of them someday too.
Yeah.
Uh, you mess up on an airline, that can be catastrophic.
Yeah.
Uh, but the railroad's federally regulated, and we're always having FRA come out there. It's a very important job what the mechanics do, the electricians do, the pipe fitters do that no one really knows about, and they should, because it's an important job and it's a good career. I'm happy where I'm at, and get railroad retirement, which is a good retirement plan. It's a good wage, and yeah, we're happy.
Okay, so yeah, being that it's a federally governed or regulated job, I suppose, then there's a lot of stability to it. There's not like big layoffs and stuff that happen, right?
Well, there has been big layoffs. Knock on wood. Luckily, I've been there almost 8 years, and I haven't had to go through one.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, there's layoffs. Anytime you're working something that's in the summer times our slow of time, and then the wintertime, Christmas, when we're delivering everything in the world, that's our really busy time. So yeah, the railroad's a funny business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess you do have more transit happening, so there's going to be more maintenance. I think
Yeah,
it would just be a stable thing. They're running the same trains every day.
and then you don't think about it, but in the wintertime, all the the air brakes and everything is freeze up. So we have more and more issues in the wintertime. And I'm in the Midwest, so we got all the seasons every week. It seems like. I know you're in Texas, right?
Yeah, very different.
Yeah. I wish I could be down there. But,
Yeah, man, I'm from Wisconsin, so
oh,
the first half of my life was, yeah, just, that negative 30 fucking snow, ice everywhere. But
mm,
down here in Texas, it's the opposite, and it sucks just as much, like just as much as that biting cold sucks.
yeah,
This
it's
biting
hot.
heat. Yeah. That's why
Yeah.
I'm moving, bro. I got a plan to be in Colorado in 2 years.
Oh my God, I was born in Denver. We went
Yeah?
vacation there in the Grand Lake or something up in the mountains, and a log cabin on the lake. Beautiful. I would love to retire there.
Yeah,
Um,
I like that it has four seasons because I'm not against snow and I'm not against heat, but what I'm against is 9 months of snow and 9 months of extreme fucking heat. So like something where there's a change in the seasons. Plus, I grew up on dirt bikes and snowmobiling and snowboarding and like climbing trees and being out like way out in the woods. That's my true nature as a human being. So like
oh yeah.
city life, fuck man.
Hell yeah. I live in a small town of 300 people. I ride four-wheelers and dirt bikes around town. Golf
Yeah.
carts are everywhere. It's
Yeah,
great.
man.
But
It's
I'm
a,
4 miles away from the city if I need to go there for anything. I'm 15 minutes away from work. I got family. I got two girls and a boy and a wife, and we're very happy.
wow, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
One of the things I thought would be kind of cool in Colorado is if I could get on with like a logging company or something and just be an industrial electrician for just anything. It's something that I've done some industrial construction, I've done some industrial service work, but like it hasn't been a huge part of something that I've been all day every day for like 5 years, and I thought that that would be kind of cool to go back into something working for somebody else for a while.
I always thought industrial was very, very interesting. We've got system electricians at the shop that are basically industrial electricians. They work on the entire shop, all the equipment of the shop. Uh, we got locomotives out there that are basically PLCs, remote control locomotives that you can control with a remote control from outside the cab and moving back and forth in full trains. So there's even PLCs on these locomotives. But
Wow.
I applied for a system electrician because that's what I basically wanted to do, be a industrial electrician or whatever. Because let's be honest, if I was to somehow get laid off or whatever, it'd be hard for me to take my journeyman card to a residential or wherever and say, "Hey, I'm an electrician," because it's totally different. You know,
Yeah, but I still think above somebody that has zero experience or, even a couple years of like being a helper, I feel like you would just have to get used to how these things are wired, and running through here instead of running through the steel frame of a locomotive. But it's the same.
Yeah,
It's still
it
current.
would take. Yeah, it wouldn't take much time to learn it. Yeah,
No.
they look like my basement. I'm finishing my basement, so I'm
Oh,
running all these people now. I've got the framing. I'd never done framing before either. I saw your video.
yeah.
I just learned from job sites. Yeah, I know, man. Me too, man.
Yeah.
I learned from YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I had to put all those 16-foot fucking 2x10s up by myself. That shit was crazy. That was so
Uh,
heavy. I had to
yeah.
haul them by myself, put them all up by myself. I'm about to have to hang all this drywall on the ceiling myself. So I
Oh
was
no.
thinking, I'm like, it's 8-foot studs, so I could probably get 2 8-foot ladders set up and get a sheet laid up there, and then just kind of screw one side up and then just move my way and keep going.
Sounds like you should sub it out, man.
I know, but I don't want to,
Sub
man.
out the drywall.
I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait 2 fucking weeks for a drywall crew to be free.
No one likes drywall.
I know.
And
And I don't
then,
even need it to be drywall. It's just that plywood's so fucking expensive right now. It's
is it
literally
still
crazy.
pricey?
Oh, dude, it's like $18 a sheet for plywood, and it was $7 a sheet for drywall. I'm like, yeah, I'm
Lord.
definitely gonna do drywall.
Oh man, that's crazy. That's crazy.
But that's come
Everything.
down a lot. Like even that's cheap
I was
compared
into woodworking for a while, and I was in the woodworking at the wrong time. It was like $77 for a 3/4 birch sheet. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I got out of that real quick.
Yeah, it's amazing. The conduit has been so expensive. Like rigid's like $100 a stick for 2-inch, and it used to be $50 a stick.
hmm
You can't find EMT anywhere down here. You can't find plastic boxes. So people that are wiring houses right now are fucked. Like it doesn't matter what Home Depot or supply house you go to, we have no boxes anywhere. Each supply house is getting like one pallet of Romex every couple of months, and so they are limiting how many rolls they're giving to each contractor because they don't want to just sell a 3-month supply to one contractor and then piss everybody off in the area.
What's going on? Why? Why is there such a shortage in that stuff? I guess it's all because of the country right now, but
Everything, yeah, it's like that for caulk, it's like that for paint, like not as bad, but like everything is in short supply right now. So COVID really fucked a lot of things up, dude. It just shut down factories for a year and a half. And so where we used to have like PVC coming from 4 different places in America, there was only one of them that stayed open, and the other one shut down. So like the entire industry of construction is running out of one fucking building now, and so they just can't keep up with the demand. A lot of stuff was made in Mexico. The Mexican factories all shut down too, so we didn't have breakers for a long time. And it's slowly starting to pick up. It's just that PVC and plastic seems to be the thing that's in the highest demand and is the lowest. It's the slowest thing to catch back up. And now we're sitting here talking about new waves of corona. I don't fucking know. I don't watch the news, but evidently there's like new waves of shit coming, and they're thinking.
I don't pay attention to it either. I get all my news from my coworkers. Like, what
Yeah,
do you
me
think?
too. If it's important enough for me to know about it, some motherfucker at a gas station, somebody, I will find out very quickly. When I turn my phone on, I'll know about it.
No shit. Oh man, I bet you get all sorts of messages all the time, probably.
I
Yeah.
do, man. It's kind of it's kind of fucking mind blowing. Having so many people want to talk to me every single day at all hours of all days, every day, and I'm dealing with like manufacturers in China and people doing web design in like fucking Romania, and so it's all hours too, on different time zones, and yeah.
You got a big brand now. That's good. That's good. You got a lot of followers. I'm sure you're staying pretty busy.
I am. I'm trying to expand it into something that's actually like addressing issues for people rather than it just being about me talking on a screen.
Mhm.
It's like, I don't know. I just feel like once I get to a certain point, like, what the fuck am I doing with all of this? Am I doing anything of importance? Am I doing anything that matters or is changing lives for anybody? And so I'm just starting to kind of wrap my head around all of that. And I've been thinking too, like, I cuss a lot. I'm 36 now, so I'm starting to just think, like, from a responsibility standpoint, if I got 500,000 fucking people across all my platforms, there's over 500,000 followers. So it's like, when I'm putting words in space, am I doing this in a way that matters for people and is actually having an impact? And, or am I just fucking trying to make money? I'm just getting to that level where I'm starting to analyze everything I do. And do I need to be cussing all the time? Kids can't watch this shit in high schools. I'm getting complaints from people that they would love to watch it, but they can't. So it's just like, I don't know.
It's hard to catch yourself. It's hard to catch yourself. I get it. You said you were in the Marines, right? I was in the Army. I was infantry. I was just a door kicker. So I know how it is, man. I try to catch myself too, because I got kids now, but the wife's always yelling at me for cussing. I tell you, but to change the subject a little bit, I wanted to say that you have helped a lot of people. You helped me a lot because I watch your videos all the time. And I want kids to know that trades are a good route. Trades are a good route, and to learn everything you can, because especially electrician, electrical is just going to keep going and going. And then the transportation industry, the automotive industry, anything electrical is good. I mean, I went to college, got a college diploma, I guess you would say, in industrial, commercial, and residential electrical. And just to better my knowledge of electricity. And it helped me get this job. Just anything you can learn, put on your resume is a good thing. And plumbers, same way. All of them, all the trades are good, and you don't have to go to college for any sort of degree to be happy and make a good living. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's especially important to be able to communicate to people nowadays, because college is so expensive. And honestly, most people that I know are not doing anything with that. All that time they spent, all that, money they spent or their parents spent, or they're going to spend the rest of their fucking lives trying to pay off, and people aren't even doing anything with it. It's unfortunate, because like what we do, you get paid to learn. You literally get a check written to you for fucking up and for asking questions and learning. And I think that's the best thing about the trades.
And it's good to be hands-on. It's good to be hands-on in building America or keeping America going. I don't know. It's something about working on one of these trains, or these locomotives are up to 430,000 pounds. 16-cylinder engines, the 20,000-pound alternators. Traction motors are like, I don't know, a few thousand pounds each. The batteries, the 232 volt batteries, or 64 volts together, they're like 1,500 pounds a piece. So yeah, it's a beast. And the amount of electronics and wires on these things is unreal. And then you got software, and you always got new software and updates to keep this thing going. There's so much different electricians out there. It's ridiculous. And I want people to know what type of electricians you can be.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I think it'd be cool to go with you for a day and just see what you do. Like, I realize dealing with, government agencies and stuff, that's not possible. You can't be out there like filming all this stuff, I'm sure.
Right.
Man,
I wanted to make a YouTube channel. I did. But there's a reason there's no YouTube channels, dealing with locomotive electrical or anything like that. And so I caught myself pretty quick on that one.
Yeah, I still think it would be cool to have a show like where I travel around the world and just have a camera crew come with me and like go to different countries and work with different kinds of electricians and just show people this is what other countries do. And then even here in the States, like going to Hoover Dam and working with an electrician and see what they do and just everything. And
I think that's an amazing idea.
That's a great show idea, right? Yeah.
That's a good show idea. I think you should follow up with that. That would be a good one. It'd be on the History Channel or A&E or something like that.
Yeah, I think the Discovery Channel is looking for a lot of Discovery Plus or whatever. Chip and Joanna Gaines are on that, and a lot of their like builders and construction stuff. I think that's the kind of place it would be.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I think that's a good route to go, man. I'm interested in seeing what else is out there. What I mean?
Yeah, me too. I love talking to people that are from like, Europe or Australia, or I got to go to the Ideal Nationals a couple of years ago where they do the national championship for electricians, and just seeing how people in China work and what kind of materials they use to wire stuff. It's so much different than us, man. And like Australia is even different.
London,
Canada's-
Britain, yeah, United Kingdom, they're different too,
yeah,
and it all works the same way, right?
yeah.
But none's better than the other. Doesn't seem like it, but it's totally different. It's weird how different countries do things.
Yeah, and it's because I think in general, just the construction in those countries is different. Like, in Russia, they build everything out of cinder blocks. Every fucking dwelling, every building, everything is just all concrete everywhere. So if you have to rough in something, you're chipping out concrete walls. I know, man. I watch these people work and I'm like, oh, fuck that. I would be like a
Those are
truck
some
walker.
badasses right there, huh?
Yeah.
Badass electricians there.
I don't
Man,
know, man. They're definitely rock chipping electricians for sure.
yeah, man, fuck that. Yeah,
Yeah, but I
uh,
think it's the same way in like Israel. They're just everything. The way they construct homes is like 300-year outlook. They don't want a fucking tornado taking a house off the ground, and it won't.
it's good work.
Yeah.
It's good work. They don't do that anymore. Here they don't
No,
work like.
and we use wood for so much. Like we're burning natural resources. We're just fucking mowing down like countries worth of trees to build houses out of this stuff. And one fire is just gone. It's like,
Oh yeah,
why do
no,
we build shit this way? Like, why don't we go and take all of the plastic out of the ocean, suck that up into some boats, and like remanufacture studs out of plastic? Or I don't fucking know.
and yeah. I mean, they make steel studs. Why not? I mean, shit. It's hard enough just to find one that's not bowed.
I know. Yeah, there's a few of these that are. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
give you
you
guys
gotta
any
deal with.
close-ups of my framing.
Did you stick frame that, or did you build the wall on the ground?
I built it on the wall, on the ground. Yeah.
Oh, so that was a bitch to put up. Yeah.
Not really, man. I mean, it was really easy. Like I had an air nailer, or like not an air nailer, a DeWalt like battery powered nailer.
No, but was it heavy to push up into place?
Wasn't too
No,
bad.
I thought. All right, cool.
No, I mean these fucking 2x10s up there were heavier. Like each
Oh,
one
okay.
handling it by itself was about as heavy as the entire fucking wall.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, it
Oh,
wasn't
it's
too
looking
bad.
good. It's coming together.
It's getting there, man. I have a lot of insulation to put inside the walls. I gotta hang a door back here. Got to put sheetrock up everywhere. Got to get some lighting put in. So little plugs and stuff. I'm gonna put a computer probably through the wall back here on a shelf. So like as soon as I'm done recording, I can take all my SD cards out, stick them right in the computer, and they automatically upload to the cloud. I'm
No,
trying to
that'd
get
be
like the
a lot
tech.
easier.
Huh?
That'd be a lot easier for you.
Yeah, the shitty thing is like I don't have very good internet in my area, so I'm uploading stuff for my video editor right now, and it says it's gonna take 7 hours because everything's 4K. So I'm
Gee,
gonna have to go get some Google Fiber and pay $500 a month for internet for me to be able to do that 7 hours in 7 minutes instead. But
sounds like you guys need some telecommunication electricians down there too, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
man.
another thing we got on the railroad. We got telecom guys. Deal with
Really?
all. Yeah, we got telecom guys, um, system electricians, and diesel locomotive electricians. They all do a little bit different things. And sorry to change the subject on you.
No,
Sorry.
man, totally fine.
Yeah. There's a lot of different things out there. A lot of guys come from automotive background, automotive electrical
Okay.
mechanics, because it works kind of the same way. So,
Is it
but
the
there's a lot.
same kind of requirements for like time, like 4 years of apprenticeship, and then you get your journeyman?
Yeah, so like the machinists, mechanics, or whatever is the 3-year apprenticeship. Uh, the electricians are a 4-year apprenticeship. You can card out if you want it by taking a test and you get your card early. We also got 3 different levels. You got electrician level 1, and then level 2, and then level 3, which is a trainer, the system trainer or the shop trainer for all the electricians and stuff. And it's all different wage scales.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you're in a union. Is there a railroad union that all of you guys are in, or is there an electrical locomotive union?
I'm in IBEW.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I'm in IBEW just like all the other electricians, and then machinists got their own union. The pipe fitters got the sheet metal workers, and even the maintenance the way guys, the conductors and engineers, they got their union. So it becomes difficult sometimes to all come together and work. Or, when it comes to negotiating contracts with the railroad and everything like that. But yeah, we're IBEW just like everybody else.
Okay. What do you find is like if somebody wanted to come and do what you do, what is the shit that you don't like about it that they should know about ahead of time? Or maybe like what would make a bad fit for somebody to come and do this?
Well, um, every day could be different. You could be working your ass off one day, getting dirty and messy, crawling underneath the locomotives, and then the next day be nothing. So if you want a steady flow, a steady workflow, that's probably not the greatest, because you're always doing something different. Sometimes you have no work, sometimes you have a lot of work. And then I don't know, if you come in thinking that you know it all, it's going to be a bad time, and I guess that's for any trade.
Yeah.
Uh, Other than that, man, I mean, I like learning everything. The best thing about the job is it's always progressing. It's always, how do you say, getting more and more advanced. There's always new projects to do, always new projects. There are always new installs to do on these locomotives. That being said, I'm not a computer guy. So that's another thing. If you're not a computer guy, good with computers and software and stuff,
Yeah.
you might have a bad time there because everything's going that route. We got the older locomotives that are all relay logic, and I like that. I like working on the old stuff. That's just me. But there's a lot of these younger guys that are coming in that are really smart with computers, and they do very well.
Okay.
So yeah, if you're good with computers and all that stuff, you should do well here. You got to deal with a lot of software, a lot of computer issues on these newer
So is
locomotives.
it like you need to be able to program things or you just need to be able to like troubleshoot computer systems?
A lot of troubleshooting, a lot
Okay.
of software installs. Yeah, the programming we don't deal with much,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, I was gonna
But
say that seems like a whole like career on its own.
that's
Right.
different. Yeah, that's different. We get sent to training just like everybody else. We do go to training where you're programming little things to work, and uh, all the training we do around Kansas City and Colorado and stuff. And yeah, you learn a lot. You learn a lot, and if you know how to work on computers and if you know how to do stuff and not get frustrated when it's out of your control, like software issues or back office stuff with different shops and stuff, then you'll be all right.
Okay. Damn,
Or,
there's motion sensors on these lights. It's so annoying. I need to get up there and change that.
I knew you were a big dog when you told me your manager was going to set up a Zoom call. I was like, damn, he's got a manager, bro.
Dude,
What a man.
I have 12 people working for me now. So it's funny, like I figured out if I hire a bunch of people that want to help me already and I just do it part-time, I don't have anybody that's full-time, then I can say that, hey, I have a certain budget every week that I want to pay you, and you can work up to whatever you think is fair within that budget, rather than me having to hire on like 6 people at $30 an hour or something, and then just empty my
Right.
bank account. So it's been really cool. Like once a month we have a Zoom call, and anybody there's people that want to write articles that are electricians. There's people that like want to just find images, and there's people that want to deal with sponsorship stuff and work on the website. And I need
Well, hook me up with a job, bro.
what do you want to do? What do
I
you?
don't know how to do anything else.
Well, it's all in the vein of like creating content, So if you're like a writer, if you can actually write really well and you want to write about what you do or anything like that, or if you like good at talking about ladder logic and how troubleshooting works and stuff like that, I mean, I could always use people that are
Ladder
knowledgeable.
logic. Ladder logic. Uh, yeah,
No.
that's not for me. I learned a little bit about that ladder logic stuff, and it's rough.
Yeah.
It's too smart for me. But
It's weird
I,
at first, but once you wrap your head around it and you've actually got an application in the field and you're looking at a diagram and you're looking at something in both in front of you and you start to see it all, you're like, oh shit, this all makes sense now. But yeah, when you're just trying to read out of a book, ladder logic, you're like, I don't understand how this turns
I,
this on and this goes over here to turn the, you know?
that's another thing we deal with. Ladder logic. We deal with a lot of inputs and outputs. You know, one and zero, brain lines, and all sorts of communication. And yeah, yeah, a lot of it you just learn on your own. You learn on the fly, man, because it's
Yeah.
always changing, and that's the
So,
best part.
so how does a locomotive work? How does the power like kind of zoom out for somebody that kind of like explaining how the utility company brings power to houses? Like how does a train work?
So let me try to do this without stumbling over myself here. But you got your diesel locomotive, and you got your diesel engine, whether it's 12 cylinder or 16 cylinder. You got your alternator or main gen, depending on if it's AC or DC, connected to that diesel engine. The diesel engine starts up and rotates and it excites, turns that alternator. So your alternators turn mechanical energy into electrical energy. That
What is
electrical
the thing, what is the means, like it used to be coal, right? That would be the thing that would convert into electricity, but what is the means nowadays? Like is it just gas or just diesel gas and that's it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we just use diesel in the locomotives. They have all electric locomotives out, complete electric, but I haven't seen one yet. I just know about them, and I don't think they've been sold to any railroad yet. But they are coming out with all electric. So you went
All
from coal,
electric diesel, an
all
all electric locomotive. How
yeah,
can they
no,
generate that much power with just
a
electricity?
lot of a lot of batteries. So you walk in the middle where the engine is, it's just lined with batteries.
Okay,
I've
makes
lived in
sense.
it, but I've seen it. It came to our shop, and I never got a chance to walk in it, but my buddies did. It's just lined with batteries, and that's really all I know about it. All the ones we work on is just you got a diesel, 16 cylinder engine, 12-cylinder engine, and that's creating a lot of force. And you spin that alternator, turn that into electrical energy. That electrical energy goes down to your traction motors. Usually have three on each truck, the front and the back. Sometimes it's two and two.
And the
And
traction motors again are what you're talking about, the wheels that actually connect to the
yeah,
track.
yeah, they're just motors. They're big motors, uh, and they take that electrical energy, they turn it into mechanical energy to create torque to move that locomotive. And then there's dynamic braking. And dynamic braking, it means that those traction motors basically turn into generators to
As they
retard,
break.
braking speed, and then it dissipates all that energy out through the top of the locomotive through these things called grids, which are really small. Uh, they're big, but they're very small ohm resistors, like
Okay.
0.33 or something like that, and it dissipates all that electrical energy through those grids. They get real hot, and when it's braking dynamics. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I just never took the time to think about
No one thinks
how.
about it.
Yeah, but it's fascinating. I mean, that just the idea of converting that much mechanical energy into electrical energy has always blown my mind. But the fact that you're saying that there's electric locomotives out there now that are completely battery operated, that makes sense too, because like you have a lot of control with battery power. There's people that use battery backup. One of the guys that works with me, that's
Mhm.
all he does is he goes into big, huge facilities and he just maintains rooms full of fucking batteries, man. And the amount of voltage, the amount of amperage, it's very controllable. And each different type of battery, what the batteries are made out of, there's just so much power that they have to be able to do certain things with battery power. I just,
Electric is a good trade to be in right now. You know, everything's getting more and more advanced.
yeah,
You know, they're going to need electricians to work on these all electric locomotives eventually.
yeah.
And the biggest thing that got me is that there's no drive shaft on these uh, locomotives. The wheels aren't just on an axle. They're their own motors. They got a commutator, they got brushes, and they turn into generators and stuff, and that just fascinated me for years. I still have trouble. I'm still learning stuff about them after 8 years.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you will after 20, man.
Yeah, and those traction motors put out, I don't know what, 1250 volts or something like that.
Wow.
A lot of current, a lot of current.
Yeah.
We got AC traction motors and DC traction motors, depending on how much torque you need. And AC is more efficient than DC. And
Yeah. Plus,
there's a lot of computers. There's a lot of like transistors in between, insulated gate bipolar transistors that convert, and there's rectifiers out there that convert the AC to DC to run the traction motors, and there's a lot of stuff on there.
That's really cool. I mean, dude, that it really interests me actually. I've never even thought about being a locomotive electrician, but that sounds like a lot of shit that I would love to go do every day.
I mean, it's just like any job. You're gonna go to your work and you're gonna bitch and complain and like, what the hell am I doing with my life? But then you realize this ain't bad. This ain't bad, and I can raise a family on this, and it's a good career, and you're always learning something new. I mean, the mechanics are good dudes and they're smart dudes, but a diesel engine is always going to be a diesel engine. The electronics part of it is always going to keep advancing. That's why I think it's a good trade to be in. So,
What about passenger trains? Do you work on stuff like that?
they have plenty of passenger train electricians out there, but
Okay.
that's not the type of railroad I work for.
Okay, so have you ever met any of those electricians though?
Yeah, we have like one or two that used to work on the Amtraks and stuff like that, and they came over here, but they said it was about the same. It was just a different type of locomotive. You know what I mean? It's not. I don't know anything about the Amtraks, but I know they're not diesel locomotives. So
Well, yeah, and they're probably like way less weight, way less power. Well, I mean, it's usually not pulling, a mile long thing of
right,
cars. You're
all
talking.
the coal and stuff. But yeah, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because I wasn't gonna bring that up. There's electricians out there for the passenger trains too, and I think they're all they all get railroad retirement, and they all got good careers, man. I
That's
just
really
never worked.
cool. Yeah. Well, dude, thank you so much for being on here. I think
Yeah,
that,
anything else? I mean, I know I'm a little nervous, so I wanted to.
you
I didn't
don't have
want
to
to
be
mess
nervous,
up.
dude. I'm just some fucking dude. Like,
Yeah.
there's no, and this is all editable. So if you mess something up, all I gotta do is just like throw it in the trash and redo
Uh,
it.
hey, can I shout out my side job,
For
my
sure.
side hustle? And not like I don't want to get phone calls from Pennsylvania, but on the side I do small engine repair, and I'm getting pretty busy at it. Jake's. It's very very original. I know Jake's small engine repair and tune up.
It took you a long time to pencil that one up on paper, didn't
Oh
it?
man, took me days, man. And I found out there's already one in my town, but
Is it
maybe
called Jake's Small Engine Repair?
it is. It is. I was like, oh man, I'm an idiot. So, oh well. I just want to shout that out, Central Illinois. Come on.
Central Illinois, if you need to get a lawnmower or something like that, right?
Lawnmower, ATV, dirt bike, anything repaired, give me a call.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, dude,
Uh,
thank you for your time. Thanks for being here and sharing all that with us.
yeah, it's my pleasure. I appreciate you getting a hold of me and saying you're interested. That was awesome. That was awesome. And I just want kids and people out there to know that all the different careers you can have as an electrician, and it's very interesting.
Yeah, this
Very.
was definitely the weirdest one that came my way. I was just like, what the fuck? Like I didn't even think about that as a job. So I'm so glad that you touched down with me on it.
Yeah, no problem, man. I appreciate the call.
Cool. Well, have a good day and stay safe out there, buddy.
All right, man. You too.
All right, bye.
Descant music and video.